Hello everyone and welcome to day 13 of my 28-day vlogging challenge. Today I'm coming to you from beautiful Mornington Beach. I just want to show you a little bit of the scenery here. There we go. So it's nice and calm and peaceful, yet I'm going to talk to you about narcissistic personality. I've had a request to talk about co-parenting with a narcissist and how you can manage that effectively. I have so much to say about this topic, so I've taken a few notes, so I'm going to be reading a little bit and referring to that, and then maybe referring to some stories that I can share. So they're quite different recommendations in how to manage a narcissistic partner when there are children involved compared to when you're ending a childless relationship with a narcissist. So it's really difficult to find a balance between protecting the child, modelling empathy, repairing damage, all the while sort of moderating the dynamic then that can potentially become emotionally abusive between the child and the narcissistic parent. In fact, we find that when there are children involved, people report that they're more likely to stay in a relationship with a narcissist for longer than they want to, because they talk about trying to protect their child from psychological damage. So the first thing that you'll want to work on, and potentially work on this with a therapist, is educating yourself about narcissistic personality disorder. So you'll want to understand that person's character inside and out. You'll think you know them well, so even though it seems confusing and it will go against everything that you think you know about people in general, it's really important to understand that person's character and their drivers and why they act the way they do. So this education, I guess, is an important step because it involves rationalizing and understanding their behavior. And it just kind of helps you become unhooked from the emotion that you previously attached to that person. It tends to ground you and stabilizes you, and then you can become a more confident spokesperson for your child. You'll really want to work with a therapist or work with someone to help yourself become aware of all your own vulnerabilities as well, all your own triggers, hotspots, pain points, because all of them will be tested when you're co-parenting with a narcissist. They will know you well, they'll know you really well, and knowledge is power, unfortunately. But while knowledge is power, I really firmly believe that empathy also trumps power. So if you're a stable parent seeking support for a narcissistic relationship, it's likely that you're going to have really excellent empathic skills, and that will serve you well. And it's potentially one of the reasons that you were a target for the narcissist in the first place. So there are two types of empathy. There is cognitive empathy and affective empathy, or emotional empathy. So basically, one form, the cognitive side of empathy, is the ability to perspective take and understand another person's frame of mind. And emotional empathy is a different level. It's you being able to understand the emotions and to feel what they feel. And what we know is that narcissists are very good at cognitive empathy. So they're really good at understanding someone else's perspective, but they have very shallow capacity for emotional empathy, which makes parenting tough for them as well. So when you're co-parenting with a narcissist, you need to become an expert in what we call empathic confrontation. And by empathic confrontation, I'm referring to cognitive empathy, not necessarily emotional empathy. So you don't need to feel sorry for them, you don't need to feel compassionate towards them, you just have to really understand their perspective, and you have to get them and know where they're coming from. It's quite hard to do. I see examples a lot of, actually it's mostly mothers that come in and talk to me about male narcissistic partners, but I do see the opposite occasionally. Plenty of examples of narcissistic fathers berating their children for average academic performance, or making a mistake in sporting activities or something like that, and actually getting quite verbal and quite nasty towards them after that. So I'd recommend working with a therapist that really understands narcissistic personality disorder, on how you would talk to that narcissistic parent, and how you would repair this relationship with the child. So the key principles in this are be really, really careful not to damage the child's relationship with your ex-partner, with the narcissist. It's necessary to reiterate all the time that you both love them and that you both want the best for them, but also important to model honesty and perspective taking. So in the case of where a father is berating a child for their average academic performance, you may talk to your child and say something like, when your dad was your age, it was really drummed into him that he had to be the absolute best at everything. But what we know is that actually really hurt your dad quite deep down inside. And I know your dad really well, and he's a very smart man, and I know he loves you very much. But like me, he can also see how wonderful you are, and just the way you are. It's sometimes these ideas from his past can kind of get in the way of how he talks to you and how he treats you. And you can say to them, these are his issues, not yours. I know that it hurts you, and I'm really sorry that he said these things to you, but I love that you're coming to talk to me about this, and please come and chat to me when you're feeling that some of these things that he's saying hurts you. So you can kind of talk like that to your child. Another thing I see a lot is when a narcissistic parent is bad-mouthing another parent, which your automatic reaction is to be really to angry and just sort of fight back. However, it's obviously important to provide a stable and grounding base for your child. So often we hear, not often actually, I have heard from a child, Mum said that you're a psycho and that you were sleeping with everyone in town. And this stuff's a bit shocking to hear from a child, and it really confuses them, and it sort of makes them doubt their stable parent. And it would be really easy for the father then to throw back and say, oh, Mum's a liar, don't listen to a word she says. But then the child sees that you are angry and upset, and then they're less likely to share things with you in the future. So the best response to, Mum said that you're a psycho and that you're sleeping with everyone in town, is actually more sort of, take a deep breath, more kind of saying, oh yeah, of course Mum will say that, Mum was really upset when we separated, and she was in a lot of pain, and we know that when people are upset and they're in pain, they say really nasty things to hurt someone, and we know that that's not true. And that it's not nice to say those things, and I'm sorry that you heard those things, but thank you for telling me, that kind of thing. So you also get a bit of a different dynamic when the child hits adolescence as well. So narcissistic parents, what we know is that they tend to see their child as an extension of themselves. So rather than viewing their child as independent, sentient beings with their own responses, they tend to adore them while the child is feeding their ego, so usually while they're a lot younger. And then when the child hits adolescence, so when they hit the independent and resistant stage, the narcissistic parent often really struggles with this. The child might do something that the narcissistic parent feels psychologically injured by. And often this leads to quite a fierce rejection of the adolescent, and we see the narcissistic parent really regress towards quite a childlike, emotionally abusive or manipulative behavioural response that can be really, really damaging. So when that happens in adolescence, it doesn't happen every time, but quite often, as a stable parent, again, you have to maintain that strong empathic base for the adolescent. So while all the time letting the adolescent know that they are good enough, that this is the other parent's issues, not the child's, and be really, really careful not to badmouth the other parent. So the more perspective taking and the more empathy you can model for your child, the better they're going to be in the long run. Even if you feel absolutely sick to your stomach by supporting your ex, by supporting the narcissist, try and keep in mind that it's actually really important for the child's mental health. That you support them to some extent. Once they're an adult, they'll have a greater capacity to make up their own mind about how they navigate their relationship with the narcissistic parent. So if anything in here triggers your interest, or there's anything you want to hear about further, please let me know. That's day 13, and I'll see you again tomorrow for day 14 of my vlogging challenge. I hope you're finding these helpful. See you tomorrow.